Guy Code with
Rena Oswere.
Welcome to another episode of The Guy Code. I am Rena Oswere. Guys, on this episode, we're going to pay tribute to the late Kevin Samuels. He died early this month, the 5th of May, around 2 weeks ago. And it really caught everyone by surprise. He was really influential in the manosphere, the black manosphere, and the manosphere in general, from the content that he shared and how he was able to engage with his audience and tackle different issues that dealt with relationships. And on this episode, we're just going to share a couple of lessons we can learn from his content and from his interactions with his audience. We'll go right into it. Number one, we learned more women, he said, more women would get what they need if they were willing to be vulnerable. They have been told all men are dogs, all men are toxic, all men are trash, etc. If they understood men instead of just our character traits, it will be a lot easier to see other men as people who have wants and needs and desires too. They can let their guard down and risk being in a relationship because there is always a risk. Always. Now, he shared this insight in one of the interviews he was invited on, and he shared this insight, and I really want us to understand what he really meant from this, is that more women these days would get what they need if they're willing to be more vulnerable. And it was so true because women these days have been trained and have been really convinced to always keep their guard up because all men are dogs, all men are toxic. And this message has really been emphasized in the heads of a lot of women. And they really start off their relationship life with this very bad notion of men and what our intentions are and what will happen if they get to interact and seriously connect with a man as far as a long-term relationship. And these women are the ones in the dating market who really come with their guard up, who really are closed off, who really find it very hard to open up and say, listen, this is what I want, this is what I need, and can I find a man who is like-minded, who we can connect with, right? As far as building a long-term relationship and sustaining it, And he highlighted if they understood men instead of just our character traits, it will be a lot easier to see other men as people who have wants, needs, and desires too. So if the women who really have their guard up decided to see men as individuals who also have needs, wants, and desires, who also want the same thing you want, a peaceful long-term relationship where they are comfortable to build a family, a legacy, their own lineage that they will be proud of. And instead of seeing other men as predators, as people to be feared, because you will understand that in many societies, women are really told growing up that, oh, do not play with boys because boys are only after this, this, and this. And this is inculcated from when they were young. Don't hang out with boys. This will happen. So growing up, many women in many societies are taught that men are either, tools of utility or individuals to be feared. And of course, this doesn't dismiss the fact that, of course, there are men there who are really predators. However, if you carry around this mentality all your life, and you always have your guard up and you're not willing to be vulnerable to say, this is what I want in a man, this is what I'm willing to give, and this is what I require to build a long-lasting relationship and build my lineage and have family that I'm proud of. And many men just want that as well. And you see other men as individuals who want that as well. You are able to be vulnerable and able to find, you know, what you're looking for. Because, guys, we have all experienced situations where, in this day and age, when you even want to go and greet a lady, just say hi to her, and you're easily dismissed. You're quickly dismissed with a certain look, with a certain expression, and you're wondering, all I did was just smile and say hello, and you're already dismissed for one reason or the other. You're wondering, okay, we didn't, approach in any offensive way. And this is of the women who really have been taught to always keep their guard up, and men are people to be feared. And it's very sad that is, because once you're vulnerable, you're able to express what you want. You're able to attract a man who is able to and willing to connect with you with your own purpose. And for those who are saying there's always a risk, what if you get your heart broken? What if you this and that? Listen, life is always a risk. Will you always move around, navigate through life trying to avoid risk? Where's the fun in that? Sounds like a miserable life, in my opinion. So there's always a risk, always. Waking up is a risk, going out is a risk. So you can't just avoid risk. It's always there, and you have to handle it. Right? The second point I want to share with you guys as far as a lesson from Kevin Samuels is that he said that connection and interaction has been overcomplicated by apps and dating websites. You are reduced to a picture, a few statistics on your height or weight, and you have less than 7 seconds to swipe yes or no, right? And this point was very true in that in this modern day and age, you will realize that dating apps have really come in the picture and have really complicated human interaction and human connection. Everyone just has a profile where you have this limited amount of characters to express who you are. And once you summarize who you are as an individual and have some few pictures or videos or whatever, you now evaluate other individuals through that they also limited profile. And you just have about 7 seconds to just skim through their profile, 1-2 pictures, and you say yes or no. I don't think connection works that way. And he really brought out a good point, and we were asking, and he asked that, what is the success rate of this? How many people, honestly, who can say that through these dating websites, through these dating matchmaking apps, that they were able to find someone that they really wanted to have a long-term committed relationship with? What is the percentage? And he really highlighted that, as far as himself, he had a Facebook group that just used the old proven ways of bringing high value men together with high value women who are like-minded, purpose driven, and they decided, let's interact. Just a Facebook group of single men, single ladies, who are like-minded as far as principles and values. They let them interact. He let them interact, and within even 2-3 months, he was hearing reports that they were able to interact, were able to connect. Some of them already started relationships. Just the old proven ways. Instead of using these ways that these apps are really propagating, that present your profile this way, take pictures this way, have your bio written this way. It's really overcomplicating a whole system that was not broken. And what is the success rate? If we need all these dating apps and matchmaking websites to really connect and find the person that you really want, for those who are looking for a long-term relationship, the success rate of these platforms is not very high. And we have to acknowledge that, And it was very insightful how he said he used the old proven ways of bringing single men together, single women together, having them interact authentically, right? in a natural way, and the results were amazing, and it really astounded him, and they were pleasing. And I really hope that such a group, and the group right now is still exists even after his death, is a great legacy, right? The third lesson we can learn from him is how he said the CIA and the FBI, for those who have been consuming his content for a long time, he mentioned these two abbreviations, CIA, to describe a high value man. He's confident, he's intelligent, and he's assertive. A high value woman is the FBI. She's feminine, she's beautiful, she's inspirational, right? These are the three things that we need to work on to become better versions of ourselves, you know? And and we really need to understand that how he abbreviated these three qualities. Of course, they are not the only qualities you need, but I think they are good foundational ones, in that you can understand that we're all a work in progress. And when you work on the foundational qualities of yourself, you're able to attract and able to be more effective and efficient in the space you want to excel in, right? So real high value people appreciate one thing, that people try, you know? And he mentioned this to really encourage those who are saying, I'm an average man and I really want to be high value. I really want to be the better version of myself. I really want to get to the next level and be able to attract what I really want in life. And how he outlined that you need to be, as a man, you need to be confident, intelligent, and assertive. For those who maybe have a personality trait that is introverted, maybe more conservative, meek, and you're wondering, this sounds like a very uphill task, he said that the main thing is to try. We don't brush it off like, oh, that's not who I am. I can't change that. Well, you can try. You can try because you owe it to yourself to be the best version of yourself. So of course, don't beat yourself up about it that you are born, you just your natural personality trait is to be more conserved, more introverted, more meek. You can work on yourself to be the best version of yourself so that you can be someone that you're proud of and you're able to excel and achieve what you really want to achieve. And that was a very good point. These these two acronyms, these two, you know, phrases, the CIA and the FBI, have really helped a lot of individuals who have interacted with him, and these qualities have definitely uh, helped them build themselves and be able to attract the people they really want in their lives, right? Now, another thing that he also highlighted, another point I want to highlight, is that most people want one of their own kind, right? As far as race, religion, and tribe, maybe. So once you become the best version of yourself and you know what you want, not what you, and you know what you want and what you need, right? For example, you know what you want. It's very important to know differentiate what you want and what you need, right? And how he mentioned that most people want one of their own kind as far as race, religion, and tribe. In that, you want someone who looks like you because familiarity uh, is easier to build rapport. From familiarity, we really feel more comfortable to express ourselves when we see someone who is one of our own, not just even as a physicality of traits, even as principles. If you're able to connect on that level, that's great. And it's important to become the best version of yourself so you know what you need, not just what you want, you know because he really brought this out when he said that for those people who really go after the physical, merely the physical exterior qualities, the beauty, the attraction, which are all good because they really can really start off something nice. However, you really need to connect with someone who really is like you and you have similar principles, so that even when it reaches a point, and it will reach a point where you are in a heated argument, and you will get arguments and you will not see eye to eye on certain things, but you will still be with that person and still write for that person and still have that person's back. Why? Because you understand that the underlying and the foundational principles that you share are what really builds your relationship, you know? And he mentioned an example of maybe even just a close confidant, for the men who really have very close friends, your inner circle. Many times you will say that you get into arguments over anything, maybe different political persuasions, sports, how to deal with money, finances, whatever. And you can get into it and it can get really heated, but no one can really mess with them when you're there. You will defend them with everything you have because you understand, even if you don't see eye to eye on certain things, you still have that person's back. And that should be the same with a long-term relationship, because if you just want someone for the physicality and you're not able to connect on an individual level, one argument is enough to break you two, because the foundation was shallow. If you're only looking for someone who has the best physical features and physical qualities, which is nothing wrong with that, however, it's not a good basis to start a long-term relationship with. You really need to connect with someone who has great foundational attributes, so that even when you get into very heated arguments, you will still write for that person publicly and claim them as yours. It's very important. Another point he said is that women want men who groom like men, dress like men, and present themselves as men. And this was just about grooming and fashion. And we all know that he was very big in that space of presenting your best self. He started off his content as far as an image consultant. We know that. As far as fashion, as far as grooming, as far as, taking care of yourself health-wise and presenting your best self, because we all know in the red pill, in the manosphere, that attraction is non-negotiable. That's the first thing they get to know about you, right? And once they get to know that about you, they are able to find out if you're the kind of person that they want to deal with. And lastly, guys, is that he take accountability. Some understand that some of your failed relationships are due to wrong leadership. So you can't talk crap about your exes when you know that you weren't your best self, where you weren't really showing integrity, when you weren't leading well. And he really emphasized on taking accountability, and he led that by example. He never talked crap about any of his exes. Even when he went through a divorce, he never talked crap about his exes. He understood that it was a failure on his part. He didn't really just shift the blame to anyone. So it's very important as a man to take accountability, to understand your shortcomings and become better. So guys, these are just a couple of things I wanted to share with you guys. I hope you're able to get some insight from this episode, and I really appreciate the feedback I get from my Twitter DMs at GuyCodeKenya. And until next time, guys, we shall talk soon. Bye.
Guy Code with Rena Osware.